إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا وسيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا أما بعد فإني أرحب بكم جميعا أيها الأحبة في درس الليلة. It's always a pleasure to welcome all of you. We continue our class, this part 2, as relate to jihad al-nafs wa shaitan, that for us to stay upon the right path, for us to benefit from our stay in this life and do what will help us in the life to come, the real life, the life of the hereafter. We have to strive harder against ourselves and our whims and desires and lusts and against the shaitan. We're still bringing and talking about النفس. Now, النفس can be a trouble for some of us, for the things that it whispers to us and things we want to do and we like. But we have to be strong. And may Allah have mercy on us. قال ابن القيم رحمه الله تعالى جهاد النفس 4 مراتب. Ibn al-Qayyim rahimahullah ta'ala says that this jihad of al-nafs that we're talking about, how a person really win the battle within his own self so that he or she be obedient servants of Allah, choosing what is right and leaving off what's not, choosing what's pleasing to Allah and leaving off what's not pleasing to Him. He says it's not going to happen except if you fulfill 4 levels. So it comprises these 4 levels for a person to be upright, to be upon the right path. إحداهما أن تجاهدها على تعلم الهدى ودين الحق الذي لا فلاح لها ولا سعادة في معاشها ومعادها إلا به ومتى فاتها علمه شقيت في الدارين. Ibn al-Qayyim rahimahullah ta'ala, he says the first of these 4 levels, they are very important and it's not going to be easy. You got to take some struggle, some fighting, some perseverance against your own desires to learn guidance and the truth, because you will have no success in the hereafter, no happiness and joy in this life whatsoever without this, without guidance, without knowledge, without being upon the truth. And if a person is missing out on this, will have nothing but hardship in this life and yet in the hereafter. الثانية أن تجاهدها على العمل به بعد علمه وإلا فمجرد العلم بلا عمل إن لم يضرها لم ينفعها. The second level, now you're striving hard to learn, then you have to strive even harder to practice that knowledge and to put that knowledge into actions, because knowledge mandates actions. That's why we learn, so we can practice. So he said, learning without actions, if it doesn't harm you, well, it will be no benefit for you. الثالثة, the 3rd levels, أن تجاهدها على الدعوة إليه وتعليمه من لا يعلمه وإلا كان من الذين يكتمون ما أنزل الله من الهدى والبينات ولا ينفعه علمه ولا ينجيه عذاب الله من عذاب الله. The third level, he said also that you have to make more efforts to convey the knowledge that you have learned for yourself and you act upon. But now you have to teach it to others. Whatever you learn, you do your best to convey it to others. You convey it to others. He says, otherwise, if a person just learn and he knows things but he doesn't share with others, doesn't make efforts to convey it, he may be from those people that concealing knowledge, concealing guidance, and it won't be that knowledge they have will not benefit them nor save them from the punishment of Allah. And this doesn't mean that everybody now is giving classes and giving fatwa and become an imam and shaykh al-Islam. It means that if you learn something and you know it, then try to, for example, there is different ways of disseminating the knowledge by correcting people's mistakes, and you start with the people in your family, or by directing the people to the sources that you learn from. Say, look, there is this book, mashallah, it's good on Aqidah, on Tawheed, on Sunnah, on Tahara, on Salat, on Akhlaq, on this, وهكذا. الرابعة أن تجاهدها على الصبر على مشاق الدعوة إلى الله وأذى الخلق وتتحمل ذلك كله لله. The fourth level, also, it takes some striving and some efforts, that you have to be patient while you endure the hardship that you're going to encounter while calling the people to the truth, to guidance. Not everybody is going to say, Jazakallah khairan, mashallah, you're right, I was wrong. Some people are going to give you a hard time. Some people are going to fight you. Some people are going to call you names. Some people are going to insult you. But you have to be ready for that. You should expect that. Because those who are better than us, that's what happened. That's what they went through, the prophets and the messengers. Don't think that when you're going to call people to the deen is always going to be a red carpet and the roses and la. Some people, there may be people who are going to appreciate, alhamdulillah, and say, Jazakallah khair, and yes, we need this reminder. May Allah reward you. Please continue to remind us. But there are other people who are going to say a lot of things about you. So take it, alhamdulillah, with patience and continue to do what you do for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. قال ابن القيم فإذا استكمل هذه المراتب الأربع صار من الربانيين. He says, now when a person fulfill these four levels, all of them, as number one, you remember, he has to seek knowledge, but it's not easy. That's why a lot of people don't seek knowledge, because it's not easy. Some people, they start seeking knowledge and they give up. So you have to strive harder. Number two, you have to act on the knowledge. Not just learning and stay the same. You gotta act. That should be seen in your life. Number three, now you call others to it. Start with the closest people to you. And number four, keep in mind that not everybody is gonna say Jazakallah khair. Some people are gonna call you on names. Who is he? He's this, he's that. You be patient, inshallah ta'ala. So he said, when a person fulfills these four levels, he becomes from the Rabbaniyin. Rabbaniyin, the ulama, they says, meaning those people who, they are righteous and upright themselves, but they call others to righteousness, but they go step by step. They talk to the people according to their levels. فإن السلف مجمعون على أن العالم لا يستحق أن يسمى ربانيا حتى يعرف الحق ويعمل به ويعلمه. He says, so the Salaf, the early generations amongst the ulama of this ummah, they all agreed that a scholar is not to be considered Rabbani, meaning the one who, mashallah, teach the truth to all levels of the community, until he himself know the truth and act upon it and teach it to others. فَمَنْ عَلِمَ وَعَمِلَ وَعَلَّمَ فَذَاكَ يُدْعَى عَظِيمًا فِي مَلَكُوتِ السَّمَاوَاتِ. Said anyone who learn this deen from its proper sources and act upon it and teach it to others is the one who is a great person among the angels. ثم قال الشيخ صالح الفوزان حفظه الله وفي وصية لقمان لابنه, and he gave an example, the wasiyah, the world famous advice that Luqman gave to his son. He said to him, يا بني إن الإيمان قائد. He said, oh son, Iman is a leader. والعمل سائق. Knowledge, that's what's going to drive you to whatever direction. والنفس حرون. The nafs, your nafs have ups and downs. فإن فتر سائقها ضلت عن الطريق. It depends on the driver. If the driver is not doing right, then the nafs is going to be lost. وإن فتر قائدها حرنت. And if the leader is not doing his job, it's going to revolt. فإذا اجتمعا استقامت. But once the leader and the driver, they both doing right, that's when the soul is going to be upright. قال الشيخ إن النفس إذا أطمعت طمعت وإذا فوضت إليها أساءت وإذا حملتها على أمر الله صلحت وإذا تركت الأمر إليها فسدت. Then the Shaykh says the nafs, if you open little door for it of disobedience, he will seize it. If you let your matters to your nafs to decide for you, you're not going to see no good. But if you subdue yourself and your nafs upon the commands of Allah, that's what's going to make it righteous. But if you leave your soul to do whatever it wants to do, it's going to be corrupt. فَاحْذَرْ نَفْسَكَ وَاتَّهِمْهَا عَلَى دِينِكَ. He says, so beware of yourself, your nafs, because this is your religion. This is your religion, that you have to be upright. وَأَنزِلْهَا مَنْزِلَةً مَنْ لَا حَاجَةَ لَهُ فِيهَا وَلَا بُدَّ لَهُ مِنْهَا. And the Shaykh said, the way you want to deal with your soul, with your nafs, is like you don't no need for it. But in the same time, you cannot live without. وَإِنَّ الْحَكِيمَ يُذِلُّ نَفْسَهُ بِالْمَكَارِهِ حَتَّى تَعْتَرِفَ بِالْحَقِّ. He says the wise person, he subdue himself, his nafs, with things that his nafs dislike until he be upon the truth. وَإِنَّ الْأَحْمَقَ يُخَيِّرُ نَفْسَهُ فِي الْأَخْلَاقِ فَمَا أَحَبَّتْ مِنْهَا أَحَبَّ وَمَا كَرِهَتْ مِنْهَا كَرِهَ. He says, the foolish, he just follow his desires. Whatever his desires go, that's the direction he's taking. And that's not good for him. ثم قال الشيخ ثم قال الشيخ لا شك أن النفس تكره مشقة الطاعة وإن كانت تعقب لذة دائمة. قال لا شك أن النفس تكره مشقة الطاعة. The Shaykh says, no doubt, usually people, they hate the hardship that comes with obedience, but you have to make efforts. Not everybody is going to fast, not easy for people to pray and to be upright. وإن كانت تعقب لذة دائمة. Remember that the hardship that you go through and the difficulty you go through,